Alright guys, this is Game Boy Luke here, and today I'm gonna be showing you how to PokeGen Pokemon onto X and Y through Pokemon Bank. So I've got a few things on screen right now. As you can see, I've got Pokemon Bank on my and the Pokemon Transporter on my 3DS. And basically, what you do is you can, if you've got an R4 cartridge, you can do it that way. But I'm actually gonna be showing you a way of doing it without an R4 cartridge, and it just requires you to mess around with your internet settings on your 3DS, and you can actually receive genned Pokemon. Let me move my mic real quick. Gen Pokemon through the GTS, so you don't even have to trade them over from an R4 cartridge over to your Black 2 game and then transport it. You can get them sent to you directly through GTS, and then you can shoot them off to your Pokemon X and Y game. So first things first is I'm just gonna bring up a website real quick, and that is this website, which is Pokecheck. And you can come on here and you can search for Pokemon, and then near enough legit Pokemon, these are run through every single time, because sometimes if you create a Pokemon, they won't go through the X and Y check, and it will prevent you from sending them through. So if you come and grab one off here and it looks legit, it will probably work. I've already tested this. I've grabbed so many Pokemon off here and it has worked. So grab a Pokemon off here. I'm just going to use Keldeo as an example. I've already downloaded it. And then what you want to do is you come into PokeGen and you're going to open up the Pokemon you want to edit. So I'm just going to go into this Keldeo real quick, and we've got the Keldeo. You can mess around with its stats and do all that jazz, anything you want to change, but we're just going to leave that as it is. So we have the Pokemon file for this, and you can do this with any Pokemon. So do what you need with your Pokemon, and then once you're ready, you're going to come over here, come over to the GTS, and as you can see, you got to this website called PokeGTS.us, and it says here DNS, and it gives you an IP address. So what you want to do is, on your 3DS, is you want to go to the settings and open up the settings. Once that loads up, very quickly, and then we're going to go to internet settings, connection settings, and then we're going to access your current connection. And what you want to do is you want to go change settings, and you want to go across one and select DNS. Once you've selected DNS, select no, and then click detailed setup, and it will ask you to enter some DNS settings. So I'm just going to bring this screen over here, and the DNS settings we need are as follows. So what you want to do is you want to clear all this, go 204.45.29.54. I don't know if I'm pretty sure this number is the same for every single for the website. So I mean, you probably just have to enter the same number, but if it is different, make sure you check the website because it may change. But yeah, once you've added those DNS settings, you hit OK, and you save the game, or save the settings rather. You don't need to test, I know this works, so it's all good. And then we're going to go back and go all the way back through this, and then whilst that is loading, you're going to actually come into the GTS, and you're going to click upload Pokemon 5th Gen Black/White. So we've got this web page now. Now, once you've got that web page open, you're going to boot up your Black 2 version, or White 2 version, and we're going to wait for this to load up real quick. Shouldn't be too long, hopefully. Okay, just turn the volume down on my 3DS. Alright, so we're booted into Black 2 version, and what you want to do is continue. Don't want to launch the C gear. And make sure you have 6 Pokemon in your party, because it can glitch out if you don't have 6 Pokemon in your party. But once you've got 6 Pokemon in your party, come to the GTS part here. And what you're going to do is, on the web page, you're going to choose a file, and you're going to load the Pokemon you want to send. So we're going to go with the Keldeo right here. Click submit, and it should bring up your Pokemon, and you should see all the awesome information that it's going to give you here. And then what you want to do is, on your 3DS, or your DS rather, is go to the global trade, hit GTS, and then hit trade. So basically what this is going to do is this is going to send you into the GTS, and because we've messed around with the DNS, and for those that don't know, DNS actually stands for Domain Name Servers, I think it stands for that, and basically it's a way of, it's a lot to do with networking and stuff, and it's basically about domain name redirection and stuff. So because I'm using another 3DS, I normally do this on my other one because I don't like messing with the internet settings on my main 3DS. We have to update my Wi-Fi information, so I've got to go back in real quick. I accidentally hit no, which is a pain. We're just going to save the game again. But as I was saying, the DNS, basically, you're basically going through this website to go to your GTS, and it's basically telling the GTS that you have a Pokemon deposited, waiting to be withdrawn, or a Pokemon that's you've traded, even though you have nothing in your GTS. You've got to it'll pretend that there is, and you've been given a new Pokemon. It kind of works like that. So what we're gonna do is we connect to the Wi-Fi. With any luck, this should be done in a few seconds. It's gonna save the game, and then I should be able to connect to Wi-Fi because I have to use this 3DS now apparently. All right, so we're in. Once you're in, it's gonna check the GTS status. Once it checks the status, it should return you with the Pokemon that you've submitted to the website. So we're just going to wait for that. And as you can see, we do get the Keldeo. And that's how you basically get the Pokemon through the Pokemon GTS. And then you can basically just delete the Pokemon and then upload another one. You leave the GTS, come back and get another Pokemon. And that's how it works. But yeah, that's how you gen Pokemon onto the Black and White, or the Black 2 and White 2 game. So I'm going to quit. And then basically, if you want to come to this, delete the Pokemon, choose a new one, upload it, hit submit, and then you come back to the GTS after you've left it, and you're done. That's it. And you can go back then withdraw another Pokemon. It's kind of, I feel it's kind of faster than trying to use an R4 cartridge, because then you have to trade it from one game to another game to another. So it just saves time. It's like saving time for the middleman. So now that's done, I'm just gonna hit this. I'm just gonna save the game real quick, and then I'm gonna load. Oh, we're gonna leave the. Actually, I'm gonna leave the Black 2 game in there. So hopefully this will save faster. Once it's saved, we're going to hit the home menu, and once we are in the home menu, we are going to access the Pokétransporter, which should be on this tab here when it loads, and we're going to go and open up the Pokemon Transporter very quickly. Once that's opened, we're going to head and connect this. It cannot connect. One thing I need to mention, actually, before we do this, is you may need to use 2 3DSs because this can 3DSs because this can get kind of tedious. But because we have our domain name set to point to this PokeGTS website, you can't use it to connect to the internet using X and Y or the Pokebank and stuff like that. So we have to go back onto the DNS settings and select yes on the auto obtain the DNS. So make sure you do that before coming in here. It's handy if you have a second 3DS like I do, whereas if you don't, then you're going to spend a lot of time having to change the DNS back and forth, which can be a pain. I understand that, but I mean, I guess this is kind of just a more convenient way for people that have 2 3DSs. I know a lot of YouTubers do because they have one without a capture card and one with. So right, so we're going to go back onto the transporter real quick. And once that's loaded up, we're going to hit the start button again and connect to the internet, and hopefully we should connect this time. Hopefully. So we are going to connect. It's going to connect to my Nintendo Network ID. Wait for that to be completed. Make sure your Pokemon are in your first box as well. Forgot to mention that. For some reason, it doesn't select any other boxes apart from my first box, so it's going to communicate with the Pokemon Bank server. I've had a few problems with the Pokemon Bank server, so hopefully we don't have too many troubles whilst recording this. Come on. Alright, so now that that is done, there is at least one Pokemon in the box that cannot be sent. Okay, so apparently one of my Pokemon wasn't genned properly, so it's giving me that message. But as you can see, the Keldeo in the bottom right hand corner, I have these Pokemon already genned, and you can just hit yes to transfer the box. So the Keldeo in the bottom right hand corner was the Keldeo I just received, that you saw me receive, but I have genned all these random Pokemon right here. And then they have been sent to the Pokemon Bank's transport box. So now that that's done, you're going to disconnect from the internet, head back to the home screen, and we're going to boot up Pokemon Bank. And once we get into Pokemon Bank, we've got to connect to the internet again. I'm just going to connect to my network ID, my Nintendo network ID. Connect to the internet again. And then we're going to access Pokemon Bank. So the next thing you need to do is, actually, I'll tell you what I need to do. I need to put in my Pokemon Y version now. I forgot to switch the cartridges over. So don't forget to switch your cartridges over, otherwise you've got to do you got to reboot it and then load it up again, because it's got to check the game card before it connects to the internet. So make sure you switch the cards over before booting up Pokemon Bank, like I didn't do. And once you're in, like I said, we're going to go into Pokemon Bank real quick, and we're going to go to our Y version, and quickly, man, this thing couldn't take any longer, could it? Really? Alright, we're going to quickly head over to the transport box, press start a couple of times, select the whole box, and stick it in our Y version, and it's done, basically. If I scroll across a few, I'll just stick it in a box where I put the rest of my mons. Actually, I don't actually have that box, so we'll just stick them here. And as you can see, we have the Keldeo that we transferred over just a second ago. If you hit the X button, you can save, and it'll quit. And once that's done, ladies and gentlemen, we can head to our Y version or your X version, and you can view this Pokemon that you've genned. And I mean, it was kind of good because one of my Pokemon didn't go through, which is always a good example. One of my Pokemon couldn't go through apparently. I don't know if that was due to a hold item or if I didn't gen it properly, because sometimes it is very, 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 very picky, and you have to be careful at what you gen. You need to make sure you select all of it and make sure it looks as legit as possible, otherwise they will not go through. And there have been some cases where people have been suspended for not genning Pokemon correctly and not making them look legit. So if we head over to the left now, we're going to find this box where I genned all my Pokemon into, and here is the Keldeo. So that's the one I transferred over. I hope this tutorial has helped you guys. It was a bit rushed actually, because I kind of had the idea and it's kind of late. But if this video has helped you guys, don't forget to leave a rating. I'll leave all the links and stuff in the description if you need them. And yeah, thanks for watching guys, and I hope you can start genning some Pokemon for your competitive battle soon. See you later.